So, Caspar, where does spirituality fit in with aging? And do you see your most thriving clients in your center having some type of spiritual practice? And also, how does that maybe even show up in some of the technologies like the BioWell with the biofield readouts?
Yeah, when you talk about spirituality and you go into this, and a lot of people mistake it for like religious or anything like that. It's really not that at all. That spirituality is about human consciousness. It's about your connection, your feeling, purpose in the world. And one of the things we did years ago is we kind of did a survey and look at the analysis and the kind of metrics and numbers and lab results around a lot of our patients that had gone through treatment. And we looked, a large portion of them got much better and continued to get better and just thrived. And some, of course, it's not 100% didn't. And they came back with some things and everything. And you looked at, well, what was the difference? It's not, the therapies were, similar, personalized to them, but it's not that someone was cut off from one therapy or another. And after really interviewing so many different people and going through it, we found the X factor in all of this was purpose. Was that feeling of doing. And a lot of people that we see come in here chronically ill for tens of years, and their purpose and their attachment is to their illness. When they were getting better, they started to get scared because they were losing their identity. That was them. They didn't have work. They were disabled a lot of times because of their chronic disabilities and illnesses. And so they didn't even know what to do with themselves, they said. And we have a psychologist, my mother, on hand here to help guide through people because we realize that's such a big part. But if you can't find purpose, if you can't be spiritually aligned with what you're put on this earth to do, then that is going to absolutely impact you, and not just on the disease state, but on the aging state. So people that usually are a little bit lost, and you see this a lot right now, a lot of people are feeling a little bit detached and lost and not knowing what their purpose is. That can absolutely be an initiating factor, not just for aging at a quicker rate, but for disease formation. And it was really astonishing to see this was the X factor. And so much of what we teach people is to find that totem, that thing that means so much to you to get better. And that will lead you on your healing journey, even when you're healed. And hopefully that purpose also will keep you in a healthy state and always optimize you. So something like aging, you basically see from that state down, it just trickles down into a cellular level. And so you don't have that purpose. You feel out of whack. You start, the energy is usually down. You feel something wrong almost with you. And that starts to go into first your mind mentality, depressive states, and then it goes into fatigue, actually, all these other things on the biochemical. So it really originates with spirituality in a sense, and then turns into mind and body. So mind, body, spirit should really be spirit, mind, body in a sense, because the most important is really the spirit. So it's really, really interesting when you break things down and you look at a disease population and analyze it, even when they get better, what is that X factor? And a lot of that is what I believe is a main factor in spirituality, which is your purpose. What are you here on this earth to do? And where do you find joy in doing it? And if there's one thing I'll say, to anyone going through who doesn't know that, look at what brings you joy. Just do, and don't talk yourself out of it. Because I know, oh yeah, I love playing this sport, but I'm not going to be a professional athlete. I can't make money that way. Don't talk yourself out of it. It's not to say that you have to be a professional if you love it. Just do it more. Find ways. The universe will provide for you in that way. But it'll also, if you keep denying yourself that, you will find yourself in a state that'll lead to premature aging, disease formation, symptoms, everything else. So spirituality is so essential. And you could look at the works of David Hawkins and so many others that kind of put it as this, that is it. It is spiritual. And then everything else underneath that. And so we have to kind of focus on that a little bit more if we're going to talk about anything like aging, medicine, and health, because it truly is essential. And I think that's a big part of what is missing right now in the medical paradigm and the anti-aging paradigm, is this idea to reconnect, not just with nature, but with yourself and your purpose.
You speak my language, my friend.
I'm glad to hear that, because it doesn't connect with everyone. It might be a little woo, and it's like, all right, show me the science. It's like, well, there is. You could even go into it.
I see it in my client population, right? I wrote a whole ebook, Unlocking Your Vitality. talking about just this. But what I will add to what you mentioned, I don't think that we can really separate body, mind, spirit, and energy. I kind of came up with this equation that I hope Stephen Hawking's would be excited about. So, body plus mind plus spirit plus energy equals whole human. So, say for example, someone like, and I talk about this in my ebook, I kind of elaborate on it a little bit more. You can get it at rachelvarga.ca. It's a really fun ebook. There's some cute little behind the scenes photos of me grounding in nature and all that cool stuff. But say, for example, we're talking about Stephen Hawking. He was wheelchair bound. I believe he had ALS,
Mhm.
very unfortunate, debilitating, degenerative disease, but his mind and his purpose. So I feel like if, say, you have some type of physical disability, right, or mental disability, you can almost bolster up those body, mind, spirit, energy practices to almost kind of level the playing field. And this is actually a chemistry term, Le Chatelier's principle, where things will actually reorganize themselves in a reaction to create more equilibrium. And I feel that if you're wavering physically, really just work on the mental, spiritual, and energetic aspects of yourself to almost help to lift that up. And even if we're talking about spiritual literature, in the Bible, Jesus was actually reported as having like a glow to his skin. There's even reference in the Old Testament to, bones vibrating
Mhm.
and things like that. And I'm sure if you were to look at other type of spiritual texts, you would see things like that as well. But that is one of the key factors that I see in my most vibrant and radiant clients is having not being religious, but having a spiritual type of practice. And we just got a heart when I said that. I thought that was really great. So that's landing with someone, which is great.